Hi, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we have a hobby package to open. I have already opened it because I've just recorded this and I'm re-recording it. So I can't redo that. So, open packet. First of all, we have a little sweet. There's a little sweet. This comes in nearly every packet. I did have one order where I didn't have a sweet, but most of the time you get a little sweet. Next we have two Hobbii Hurricane in this like pink variation. This is the same yarn that I used for my grey star blanket that I showed in my first video. I used 4 of these for that grey blanket, and this time I've picked up 2 and I'm gonna make a smaller star blanket for my Nana. Kind of like a lap size, you know, not quite so big. If you watched my last video, you'll know that pink is not my colour. This is very specifically for my Nana. So there's that project. I have 4 of these Hobbii Rainbow Lace. It's 100% mercerized cotton. This is probably the thinnest yarn I've ever bought, and it's specifically for a filet crochet project. I bought a pattern. I'll put a picture here of it. The thinnest yarn that I had that I tried to make this bag with was the Friends Cotton 8/6, and it was still turning out so big. Like I would do the starting chain and the base of it, and it just turned out really big, much bigger than I would want for a tote bag. So I thought, let's try a lace weight yarn and see how that goes. So this is obviously the black one. I don't know if it is just literally just called black. The colour says 09. So 4 of these are I think 50 gram. Each of these balls are 50 grams, so I got 4 of them. And we will see, that should be enough. But project number 2. And for the last project, I got these 3. This is the Cotton Friends A8, 100% cotton. These are 50 gram balls. 50 grams. I got in white, black, and like a mustard yellow. The actual colour, the number is 28. Doesn't say the name of it. This is 01 and 124. And it's just the black and the white. And these are for a crochet wind spinner. I've never made one of them before, but I've seen them a lot. This one specifically is going to be like a bee themed one that I want to make for my mum. It's a Christmas present. I've gone for the 8/8 instead of the 8/6 because I think it will be a little better to have slightly thicker yarn, maybe. I've never made them before, so I don't know, but that's what we've got to try. I did see a couple months ago, probably back in sort of like October, Halloween time, I feel like the wind spinners had their moment, you know, and I had a Halloween themed one come up on my Pinterest and I want to try it really bad. Obviously this is not going to be a Halloween one, but the one that I saw, it had like ghosts, pumpkins, bats, like it was a really cool spooky theme, and I really want to try and make them. But first we're gonna make these. I say these, it's one, we're gonna make one, but it's gonna have a little bee amigurumi hanging from it, I think. Oh, why do I feel out of breath? Okay, I feel like I've kind of lost my crojo a little bit because my work's been picking up a bit recently. It gets quite busy at work in December, like the sort of Christmas period. I work at a jewelry company, I pack orders, so it gets rather busy at Christmas. I've just been getting like more tired. The weather has been very miserable. It's cold, it's getting dark. My seasonal depression is kicking in, and I am losing all kinds of inspiration and motivation to do any crafting. So I thought if I gave myself specific projects to focus on, two of them being gifts, kind of gives me that push a little bit to actually work on it, and I kind of have a deadline to get it done by. Hopefully I can kind of get back on track a little bit, and also having a video that I have to kind of record and get out is another bit of motivation. I haven't really nailed down like a posting schedule yet, because this is all still very new to me. So at the moment these videos are just coming out as and when I make them. Maybe eventually I'll work out a schedule, but yeah. Since my last video, I've got a new phone. I treated myself to the Galaxy Z Flip 7. The camera is so much better, and I'm really hoping it shows in the quality of this video. One thing I will note for anybody curious, I know there's a lot of US based crocheters who order from Hobbii, but I just thought I'd mention that if you're in the UK and you order from Hobbii, their shipping times are actually not too bad. I placed this order quite late on Wednesday the 26th of November. That was last Wednesday. It was dispatched the following day, the Thursday. Admittedly, it's not a very big order, but it was dispatched the next day. And it arrived yesterday, which was Tuesday, the 2nd of December. So considering there's a weekend involved in that, it actually arrived pretty quick. I mean, it has been about a week. I've opened it a week after I've ordered it, but it arrived yesterday. And I think for a company that ships internationally, that's pretty good, because that's probably about the same amount of time it would take if I ordered something from a UK based brand. So I've actually always been quite impressed with their shipping. I've never had an issue with it. It's never been held at customs or anything like that. I actually prefer buying from Hobbii over like anywhere else at the moment. And they have amazing deals, like why wouldn't you? I got these ones at pretty much half price. So, and these are only like £1 something each, which is cheaper than like one of those 25-gram balls from Hobbycraft, you know. So the only downside to buying online is you can't actually fill the yarn, but I go off of reviews and like the specs. Just thought I'd throw that in there in case anybody's curious. I am gonna get started on one of these projects and we'll see how we get on. Okay, so I've decided to start with the bee wind spinner, only because I think it's going to be quite a quick and small project. The star blanket will be one that I will work on probably more so in the evenings. I've had a look on YouTube. I think I'm going to use this. It's an African flower wind spinner, but a bee one. There's a tutorial on YouTube by Rachel Riley Crochet. I think also as a backup, I'm watching this video by Bruneticality. I'm so sorry if I'm saying that wrong. But this is another one that I think could turn out much nicer. Look at that. With the striping, I think it will look really cool. So we're watching this too. So in the video, it said to chain 80 to reach about 50 centimeters. I've chained about 68, 69, because I want it to be about 40 centimeters. So I did 68 chains and then I added one more as the turning chain because I have to go back and do single crochets. So that's where we're at. This yarn is being a little bit temperamental with splitting. So typically as soon as I went close up to the camera it's working fine, but I'm supposed to be doing half double crochets, but for most of them, instead of going through all 3 loops at once, I'm having to mostly go through like 2 and then through that last one by itself, just to stop it from catching. See, right there I can't. There's like a single thread that it missed there from that second loop. I just can't get it through that last loop, so it's taking slightly longer, but you can already see it starting to curl, which is fun. What if I move it back? Look at that. Anyway, I'm gonna carry on with this. I've just noticed a mistake. I've got this far with the second row, so that yellow is all of the second row, and I have been doing back loop only, which is probably you can see there's lines there. I've spent so long doing back loop only ribbing that I've continued doing back loop, so I need to take out and basically restart all of this. I've also just noticed that the video I'm following, they're using a 4.5mm hook and I've been using a 4. This yarn does say a 4 to a 4.5 crochet hook, so I don't know whether to completely restart because I did the starting chain and everything in a 4 as well. I could redo all of that, but I've cut it now. If I go up a half a hook size, it might not be enough now. I'll stick with the 4. We'll see how it goes. I've probably got enough yarn, I can always make another one if I want to. So we're sticking with the original starting chain in black, and I'm going to redo this yellow and actually do it properly this time and not in the back loop. If you can hear that, that's the dog upstairs playing. And probably my mum scraping up any toy remnants from anything he's destroyed. It's the next day and I just thought I would do a quick check-in. I finished this yesterday, the wind spinner, finished that last night. I am just about to start the little bee, the amigurumi that's going to hang from the bottom. I'm going to use this pattern that I've used before. It's a free bee crochet pattern that I've got saved on Pinterest. It's by Gabrielle Crochet, don't know, but it was on Pinterest. It's a free written pattern, so that's what we will be using. I've got this much left of each colour. The black is considerably less but there's a decent amount of white and yellow still. So I'm going to make a little bee, and then depending how much yarn I've got left, I may try and make the flower wind spinner, which I didn't do, the first one I saw. I might try and do that, or I might try and make one of these with the 4.5 hook. I'll see how the bee looks with this one, but at the moment this is what we've got.
To the wheel of projects. Moving on. It did indeed use all of the black, but I still have a very see if we can change that. Right now it is about 7 p.m. I think if we put in another 2.5, maybe 3 hours, we can be done. Cross our fingers. These rows are getting really long. You see this? You gotta go from this all the way around. Real green beans. They were like fancy green beans. Tough. You know, I like green beans. Moving on.
She swapped her dancing shoes for driving shoes and is now on her way to a serious road traffic accident.
And then as we came around the corner of there, like fell back there, and he tried to correct it, but as he tried to correct it, like it just went to the other side, and he tried to get it back again, and then it just sort of spun straight out. And at that point I was really like, trying to...
And that means no special helicopter treatment. It'll be taking the ambulance. Emergency services can be stood down. Apart from inexperience, another factor could be a space-saver spare tyre that's on the back of the Amiga.
Can I have a recovery for what's left of this Amiga? It's now convertible and doorless.
So it is currently Sunday evening. To be honest, I haven't done a lot of crochet this weekend. I just haven't really had the motivation. But this evening I've started on the first of these cakes. This was the Hobbii Hurricane. We're starting on the pink. I've got to set up round 4. That doesn't help. Hang on. We got this far. This is with a 5.5. It's just beginning to curl on the corners. I'm going to go up to a 6mm, and that should help stop the corners from curling. I just fancied something pretty straightforward and a bit mindless, and I'm just catching up on some Vlogmas videos. Quite easy, quite chill. I am finding that with every time I make this blanket it gets a little bit easier. The very first time I made it, this grey one, I had to keep the instructions, the pattern, in front of me the whole time. I had to keep referencing it over and over and over. And with the Halloween one, it got to a point where I recognised the repetition and I knew it off by heart, and I could just kind of look at it and know what was next. And so really all I need the pattern for is the setup rounds. I read it once, I'm like, okay, cool, know what to do now. Whereas like before I was having to like constantly go back and read it and just make sure I was doing it right. But yeah, we are at round 4. I quite like this yarn because it's kind of mixed all the way through. Like even in the centre there's like white through it. When the colours change it's less blocky like it was with the Halloween one. It's much more sort of gradual and kind of all blended. So we are switching to a 6mm, and I'm gonna just carry on working on this evening, and I will let you know how far we get. It is Monday now. I didn't get too much done over the weekend, or at least not as much as I wanted. So the only update I've got really is I've done all of these setup rounds. So this should be 9 setup rounds. I've already gone up one hook size. This yarn recommends using a 5mm hook. I started with a 5.5 and I've already gone up to a 6, and it is still curling a little bit at the points. And I'm not sure if I have a 6.5. I might in my Tunisian crochet hook set, but I don't know where that is. That might be in storage. So I might just have to continue with a 6 and just see how we get on. Maybe like flatten it out after every round. Setup rounds complete, and now I've just got to do the repeating rounds until we run out of yarn. It's so pink. It is so pink. If you like pink, then I would recommend this yarn, but I am not a pink person, as I've already said. I guess the only other thing to update you on is I tried to make a second wind spinner because I still had some yarn left over. I had a decent amount of yellow and like a little bit of black and basically a whole ball of white. And I thought I had enough to have a go at that African flower spinner that I was gonna try first. And we got about, this is the top of it, it looks really cool, but that only went to here. So I have all of that I couldn't do before I ran out of yarn. So I'm thinking of just frogging this and then I can use the yarn for something else. I don't know if I showed you. I haven't put any eyes on it yet because I'm trying to figure out how to embroider that on. I didn't have access to my safety eyes to do that when I made the bee. It's pretty cute and it works pretty well. Anyway, that's where we're at. I am gonna continue with this star blanket. Okay, so I can't remember what the last clip I filmed was, but I tried to make a second wind spinner and I didn't quite have enough of the yellow to finish it, so I completely frogged the whole thing, wound up this little ball of all of the yellow. I also have the black here, and I was like, what can I do with this small amount of yellow and black cotton yarn? I've got this much still in the packet. I also have nearly like a whole ball of white, which I don't know what to do with, but that can stay there for now. I did think I'm going to see Ice Nine Kills in London on Friday, and it's the Work of Art tour, and I don't know if you've seen, but there is a lot of these beanies that people have been making that look or like are inspired by Art the Clown with the sunflower glasses, and I'll put a picture if you haven't seen them because it looks really cool. And obviously I've been on a beanie kit recently, so I'm like, oh, I could use the yellow and the black for the flowers and make a black and white beanie, and it uses up my yarn. That's a good idea. So I started making the flowers. I had 2 of these little black circles. I've made one of the flowers and I really like how it turned out, like the shape of it, but look at the flipping size. I don't know how to make it any smaller, but can you imagine 2 of these on a beanie? They're massive. And I've already cut the yarn and I don't think I'd have enough to like make them any smaller. So my next plan is to make another one of these, exactly the same because I like the shape of it. It uses up the yarn a little bit at least, and I'm gonna try and do like a tapestry, I think, and then use these as like appliques on the eyes. So it's gonna be a tapestry kind of based on this picture of Art the Clown, and then these I'll just sew on top, so it'll be kind of like not 3D, but you know, it will have that like added extra bit on top. So instead of including this in the tapestry image, these will be stitched on top. So that's my plan. That is a much bigger project and will take a lot longer to finish, but maybe by saying it out loud will actually get me to do it. So we're not going to get this done or get that idea done in this video, but I do plan on getting that done. So maybe that would be my next video. I don't know. It's definitely going to happen in the future. At least that's something that yarn gets used for it, and I think it'll look really cool by the end. And I will obviously post it somewhere when it's done, if I don't do a video about it. That's the plan. Okay, so I feel like I should probably end the video here. This has been over a week since I started filming this, and I'm hoping to try and get it out tomorrow. I just thought I would do a quick little roundup of all the things that I have made in this video, little sort of final update of these things and where I've got to. First of all, we have got this far on the Pink Star blanket. I am not sure how many rounds this is. I do think I've started the second repeat, so that's probably about 7 or 8 rows more than the last update that I would have showed. But we still have a decent amount of yarn from the first cake and a whole nother cake. So that's going to be an ongoing project. I knew I wasn't going to finish this in this video, but that's how far that's got. You would have just seen me working on the second flower. Now we have 2 of these. I haven't weaved in the ends yet, but we do have 2 little flowers. What else? We have the bee wind spinner. That bit you would have seen before. The only difference is we now have a little face on it. You get my face out the way and it will actually focus. It looks kind of silly, but I just did like French knots with some embroidery thread, and I thought I would do a little smile with it as well. I wasn't trying to make it perfect. It spins, it does its job, it looks cute. That was our first finish, I think. And one other thing that I've yet to show you is a project I started last night. These are all of the colours that we've got. This is for that tapestry, for the art tapestry that the flowers are going on. I did not put a stitch marker in this, so that's great. This is how far we've got. It does not look like anything right now, but this is the bottom of it. This is going to be a very long project. I got very overwhelmed with it last night after getting this far and encountering all of the tangles. So I'm going to either have to do like some kind of bobbins or cut and join the yarn. There's a lot of like single stitches, which are a pain in the ass at the start of our tapestry. I have no idea how long this will take. I have quite a track record of starting a tapestry, getting overwhelmed, and then putting it down and not touching it for ages. So we will see how long that takes me. But yeah, I think that's everything. Quick little side note. See the little scrunchie that I'm wearing? These are available on my Etsy. Obviously not the one I'm wearing, but I have a box of these like velvet scrunchies. These are limited edition Halloween yarn. They're like quite big, quite jumbo. I've got one of these in currently. I've got these in black and orange, and I've got one of these in grey. This is a different yarn, so it's a bit smaller. I do have some more of this yarn in like an orange and a black, but like a plain orange and black, so it'll be a bit smaller than these. But currently these are up on my Etsy, so if you're in the UK and you fancy getting your hands on some very soft, kind of big scrunch, let me put it on. It's kind of big. You can get them as a pair, you can get them individually. I will link these and my Etsy shop in the description box below if you fancy having a look. That is all. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.